Now, BMW launched the 5 Series in long wheelbase form to take on the Mercedes E-Class. But it also has a short wheelbase version with a bit of a twist. It's all electric. Yes, this is the BMW i5. But it has even more. It has an M badge over here. So really, is this a car that's worthy of the M badge? This is the M60 package. And clearly, what we're going to drive now is this car, which has 600 horsepower, almost 800 Newton meters of torque. But does it have the same soul of that V8?
It looks apart with its short overhangs, long bonnet and muscular bodywork. The illuminated grille is not to everyone's taste, but announces the i5's M credentials with authority. There are subtle M touches like the 10-spoke alloy wheels, M-specific badging and that sporty stance. What I like about the i5 is that there's enough visual drama without being too over the top. Now let's have a look at the cabin.
So the interior of the i5, as expected, is very driver-centric and very high-tech. You've got these two screens, 12.3-inch for the driver, the instrument cluster, and the main 14.9-inch screen. They look absolutely fantastic. Graphics are superb. And, when you can even change the layouts and the way they look, you've got this thing called digital art. It really looks like a piece of art, very funky. And of course the colors change as well, but to be honest, the functions, they're a bit of a mess because not really easy to go in. Even something like the AC, you have a 2-step into the menu, not super convenient, though the temperature is a hard button over here. And you've got these vents which you adjust over here, and this haptic slider for the direction. Not sure if it really makes things easier, and sometimes you get the feeling that they're just giving tech for tech's sake. The good thing is that BMW has retained its traditional iDrive controller, and honestly this is still to me the best way to go through a lot of the functions. Much easier to use, just a twirl and click, just the way we like it. Some sort of a haptic feel you get. And otherwise there are so many features in here that really it takes you a while to go through all the functions. And of course the best way around this is the voice commands, and let's give it a shot. Close the sunroof.
Okay.
That was a simple one. Let's make it a bit harder. Turn the cabin temperature up to 22 degrees.
Unfortunately, this climate function cannot be voice controlled.
Well, that's not great, is it? Turn up the aircon blower.
Increased for the driver.
Voice commands have improved but still lag behind Mercedes and Volvo. The overall fit and finish is superb, and that mix of piano black and crystal finishes makes the cabin feel really luxurious. But is it comfortable?
So the back seat of the i5, well, clearly not as comfortable as the long wheelbase 5 Series, but there's decent legroom. Under thigh support is pretty good, and so is the headroom. The only thing is you sit quite low down, a bit of a knees up position, backrest also a bit upright, and you've got this massive transmission tunnel over here. Now that really is a carryover of the ICE platform. Don't forget, BMW's CLAR platform for cluster architecture is shared between ICE and EVs, gives them flexibility, but this is a big disadvantage, unlike a skateboard where everything is flat.
Okay, so you've got your armrest, dedicated vents and aircon controls, plus USB charging, but you don't buy this car to sit in the back seat. Luggage space? Let's check that out.
The boot has a lot of depth. It's pretty deep, so you can slot two bags kind of horizontally over here. The only thing is that the sides, they kind of intrude into the width of the boot, and of course there's no spare tire, but you've got this big massive cubby hole over here to store things like charging cables like that, but no spare tire. Again, that kind of keeps you city bound, just like the short range.
Time to take it for a spin.
So the i5, just driving out of the office, feels like any EV. Super quiet, steering is light, ride is really good. So it really disguises that kind of explosive power under the hood, or should I say under the floor. And I'm just waiting for an open road to check that out.
In the city, the i5 is so easy to drive. It's silent, ultra smooth, there are no jerks, and even a novice driver won't have difficulty punting around town.
Now, what is absolutely amazing is the ride quality. It's just incredible. It's like luxury levels of ride quality, even on these low pro tires.
What is astonishing is the way the i5 rounds off those sharp edges, those ruts. It feels incredibly plush.
So it's just amazing what BMW has done with the ride quality, which was really once the core strength of Mercedes.
The i5 can so easily be a daily driver, your everyday car, but you have to remember that it sits quite low.
So the first or the biggest test in a city are speed breakers. And these low slung EVs generally have a problem.
And the i5 too certainly has a ground clearance problem. It's made worse with the soft suspension because the i5 sinks down and hits large breakers with a sickening crunch. Enough of the city. Now let's find some roads where the i5 can stretch its legs.
We're on the Atal Setu, and this is the place to very briefly check out what the performance is. And I'm activating eBoost to unleash all 600 horsepower and nearly 800 Newton meters of torque. So a quick tug on the eBoost paddle, you get 10 seconds and whoa! Whoa! My God, that is absolutely mental. And that sound in sport mode, it sounds like a spaceship actually, not like some massive V8 under the hood. So very different. And what's amazing is this whole Jekyll and Hyde character of the car, because getting out of the city, it was so docile, like in any other EV, just calmly filtering through crowded traffic, and now on this open road, just flooring it, just slams you back into the seat.
It's a rocket in a straight line, but what's it like on a curvy road?
BMW cars have become very heavy. In fact, this one is nearly 2.4 tons. But what BMW does very well is mask that weight. And the i5 over here, it doesn't feel as heavy as it is. Not at all. In fact, it feels remarkably agile on these twisty bits. And really just the way it flicks into corners, that rear wheel steering really makes a huge difference. Grip 2 view is amazing. Bit of understeer at the limit, but really this car is phenomenally balanced. Nearly a 50-50 weight distribution, and all of it very low down, very low center of gravity.
The steering is perfectly calibrated. It's light but has loads of feel.
The only thing is that with all that torque, you do get a bit of torque steer, especially on these uneven surfaces. Yes, this EV is actually fun. The performance, the handling, the responsiveness is absolutely thrilling. But at the same time, you do miss the soul of a V8, an M5 V8. This one has a distinctly artificial sound. No disrespect to you, Hans Zimmer, but a throaty V8, that's what you miss. And just the way the power is delivered. I mean, this one gives you one enormous lump of incredible thrust in one unidimensional way. And that's what makes it feel a bit synthetic. No gearbox, no V8 burble, none of that. So yeah, you do miss that character of an ICE engine, that's for sure. The biggest issue I have with the i5 is the range. Now the battery, it isn't big, around 81 kilowatt hours, and the rated range, WLTP range, is about 516 kilometers. And if you drive the i5 the way it begs you to, you can expect the range to tumble even further. Now we've done, I think, less than 100 Ks, and the battery has gone from 100 to 63%. So really the issue is that you can't stray very far from a plug, and I think that's going to be the biggest constraint.
So is the i5 M60 the electric M5 we had hoped for? It comes tantalizingly close. This is a car for those who want to embrace an electric future without compromising on performance. Even at rupees 1.2 crore plus, this is a very compelling car and proof that BMW is still on top of its game.